Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Tasmat Karanatma Jiveshwarayoho Bheda Buddhi Svikarya. We were given sufficient input and ultimately came to a conclusion that the same reality with the conditioning of Panchakoshas is referred as Jiva, and the same reality with the conditioning of the Maya is called as Ishvara. So differences are on account of the conditioning and not the condition. Having told this yesterday exhaustively, now the next step in the inquiry is how do we practice this? See, there was a patient, he went to the doctor and doctor said, yes, I know your problem, then take this medicine. So he wrote, Doctor Sahab, where is this medicine available? It is not available anywhere. Then what is the use of the prescription? Exactly the same way. When we are told that practice this knowledge, that the one who is expressing through the Panchakoshas and the one who is expressing through the Maya is one and the same, and that thou art, easiest way is to deliver a lecture. That is the easiest way, and that is what we do. Now the question is it only a philosophical proposition or is it a practical one also? So here onwards, the next step is, what is the meaning of spiritual practice according to the Vedanta studies? See, when we are told, let us take, path of karma, what is the spiritual practice? Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturбhu ma te sangastu akarmani karma. Then what is the path of yoga? Go on twisting the body and pumping the air throughout life. See, you are becoming yoga. And you have to do it every day. See, I tried my best. Sometimes I get, this yoga attack. And then I will do asanas for 3-4 days, not months. And after that, one thought gets into my mind. Am I again getting identified with the same body? See, so it goes away. Similarly, the pranayama. When I start pranayama, it starts okay. But again the question comes, see, Patanjali says, Prayatna Shaitilya, there should be effortlessness. When I am doing pranayama, there is effort, there is I born, and therefore there is no spiritual progress. Drop it. Then sleep. In sleeping, there is no effort. Yoga practice. Then comes the practice of devotion. See, all the time keep the bag in your hand, tied down inside. Only Bhagavan Krishna knows what is that. Along with the mala, then bidi, and then machis, and then some coins, And all the time, that is why they do this jhatka, because that mala gets entangled into bidi sometimes matchbox, and then it is difficult. Or else go to the temple at a particular time and go on playing with the flowers and all that, fooling around, to speak in English. Keep fooling around. This is practice of devotion. Okay. Then the question comes, what is the practice of knowledge? This practice of knowledge is nothing but remaining more and more aware about and in and through every experience. And when this awareness is practiced, then we are practicing knowledge. ननु साहंकारस्य किंचिज्ञस्य जीवस्य निरहंकारस्य सर्वज्ञस्य ईश्वरस्य तत्त्वमसीति महावाक्यात् कथम अभेद बुद्धि स्यात् उभयोः विरुद्ध धर्माक्रांतत्वात्. Now nanu means a question is raised, a doubt, an objection is raised. Sahankarasya kinchitnasya jivasya. Who is the jiva? Jiva is the one who has this notion of entitification. I am someone other than others. Sa ahankarasya. Then kinchitnasya, not the omniscient, but knowing very little. Say this something like this. The colors and forms are the light waves. They are infinite. But our eyes can see only a particular spectrum of light waves. So although the light waves are many, infinite, yet through the limitation of the eyes, we can have a limited knowledge. See, like the time is infinite, but what we measure is finite, because our measurement is through some limitation. So this jiva functioning through the limitations of the body, the sense organs, organs of action and the mind, etc., he cannot have the omnisciency. He will have to be a little lower, kinchitness. So this jiva who is separating himself from the totality, this jiva who is under the influence of the panchakoshas and therefore he is not the all-knower, such a jiva, how it can be abheda buddhi, can be recognized as one with the Ishvara who is nirahankarasya. Ishvara doesn't have ahankar. See, it is something like this. When we take the totality, infinite, what is ahankar? Ahankar is that where impurity can be perceived, joy, sorrows, etc. Let us take, this hall. This hall is an ahankar in the space. So if there is one joystick burning, there will be fragrance. If there is a dead rat rotting, there will be a dirty smell. But in the total space, even if you burn the factory of joysticks, there won't be fragrance. And if the whole world is rotting, nothing happens in the total space. Therefore, this individual space and the total space, how it can be one? This is the question. So, katham abheda buddhi syat? Because the Ishvara is nirahankaraha, he has no limitations of any conditioning. See, ahankara means what? Acceptance of the limitations of time, space and object together is called as ahankara. In Drudrishi Vivek, this topic comes, where in the waking state, our ahankar is 100%. In the dream state, our ahankar is 50%. In the deep sleep state, there is no ahankar, because there is no identification with either the gross body or the subtle body. And therefore, when there is no ahankar, there is no misery. So, this Ishvara who is nirahankara and sarvajna, omniscient, how it can be established through this Mahavakya Tattvamasi that Ishvara and Jiva are one, because Ubayoho, both of them, Viruddha Dharma Krantatvat, because both of them belong to the opposite nature. How it can be accepted? This is the question. Now this question is answered in the next statement. Iti change na. If this is your doubt and objection, no, it is not so. It can be established. How it can be established? Sthula, Sukshma, Sharira, Bhimani, Tvam Pada Vachyarthaha, Upadhi Nirmuktam, Samadhi Dasha Sampannam, Shuddha Chaitanyam, Tvam Pada Laksharthaha. एवं सर्वज्ञत्वादि विशिष्ट ईश्वरः तत्पदवाच्यार्थः उपाधि शून्यं शुद्ध चैतन्यं तत्पदलक्षार्थः एवं जीवेश्वरयोः चैतन्य रूपेण अभेदे बाधका भावः. Now here the whole thing is explained in a very systematic manner. First, every statement has 2-3 different meanings. See, one is the direct meaning, word to word meaning. It is called as vachyartha. Second thing is called as the lakshartha, the implied meaning. See? So what is the vachyartha? This is the mind. What is the vachyartha? And lakshartha, Mr. So and so is the mouthpiece of this political party. The political party doesn't have a body, so that mouthpiece doesn't mean he has got only like a Rahu, only the head and no body. So lakshartha implied meaning. In the same manner, when we say tvam pada, tvam tat asi, you are that. Now who is this you? Jiva. Who is this Jiva? So in this word tvam there are 2 meanings. One is the vachyartha, the word meaning, and second is the lakshartha, the implied meaning. So what is the vachyartha, the word meaning? Sthula sukshma sharira abhimani tvam pada vachyartha. When the self, the Atma, gets identified with the gross body and starts behaving as if he is a gross body, starts getting identified with the mind and starts behaving as if he is a mind, this as if experiencer is called as the word meaning of the word jiva or the tvam. How we live as if? When we say I am old, here the word I refers to the body. When I say I am a man, here the word refers to the body. When I say I am very heavy in my weight, here we refer to only the body. So such a person is living as the body, for the body, on everybody. Now the second thing, when we are functioning as the mind, then what happens? The mood of the mind is my mood. See? Why did you study? Mood nahi hai. Kiska mood nahi hai? Whose mood? My mood. So the mood of the mind, we get identified and we become moody. If the misery is in the mind, because mind is the instrument through which the misery is experienced. So, if the misery is experienced by the mind, we get identified with that misery, we become miserable. So, whenever the self gets identified with the gross body and the subtle body, it is the direct word meaning of the jiva. So, jiva is this. Now be attentive. This jiva, he is every now and then born. See, misery comes, getting identified with the misery, Mr. Miserable is born. Joy comes, identified with the joy, Mr. Joyful is born. Confusion comes, confused personality is born, the third birth. So with every modification, a new entity is born. And this new entity born every time is not the real one. See friends, therefore all the spiritual practice is recognition of this. Identification is bondage, disidentification is freedom. See, there is nothing more to be done. Whenever we are miserable, we have identified with something. So what is the spiritual practice? Don't get identified. But then how to function? Go to Bengaluru and do the Karnataka. That is the only solution to all the problems of life. There is no other solution. Take every event of life as a drama, that role we have to play. And are we not playing role continuously? Like here we are sitting. I am playing the role of a speaker and you are playing the role of a ... com. I don't know whether you are listening or sleeping or what. In this manner, we all have to play different roles. And if we simply play the role and after the role is over, remove the costume and come back to your normal being. Normally what happens? Amma, you sit next to this, in this chair. You come in the front. He is blocking you. So, when we play a particular role, play the role best. And after the role is over, don't carry the costume with you. If you carry the costume, suppose you are playing the role of Tattvabodha Shivaji, and your drama is over, and then you are going with the role Tattvabodha Shivaji Maharaj ki jai. On the stage, you will be honored. On the road, you will be dishonored. See, this is all spiritual. The practice of knowledge is this. We don't have to do anything else. See, Tattvabodha Vachyartha. It is something like this, friends. Like this example I give you million times, and yet you will not accept it because it is difficult to accept. Like for every dream, there is a separate dreamer. For every waking experience, there is a separate waker. Work on this. We have done highest spiritual practice. We don't write autobiography of the dreamer. In one dream, I was a Gadha. In another dream, I was a super Gadha. No need. Because after the dream is over, everything is over. The same thing is true with the waking experiences. Get this point, it is by God's grace only it will come. One of my friends in Varanasi, I was talking to him. He said, Swamiji, one thing I am unable to accept. So what is that? He said, you should not talk about your past. What is wrong? If I talk about my past to my children, when we were children, we used to do like this thing, and now you people do. What is wrong in that? I said, there is nothing wrong. First of all, the children don't want to listen, and yet we talk. Yes. Second thing, what do you prove by that? What do you prove? Only one thing. Our body identification has not gone. Who was the child? We were not a child. It was the body that was a child. Who was the teenager? It was the body who was a teenager. We were not the teenagers. Because we have no experience that we are growing. See how subtle this point is. And therefore, when we practice this knowledge, we will start living as the self. And when we talk about our past, our autobiography, we are not talking about the self. We are talking about the body. Every time I got identified, as a child I got identified with the body and I was living like a baby. Then the body became teenage, I got identified with the teenage body, I became a tin like that. Now the body is old, I got identified with the body, now I am old. So the basic issue of body identification is not corrected. See friends. So who is this Jiva? Vachyartha is this. If you take, let us take photographs. I went to somebody's house in USA many years before. When I entered their house, there they have got huge palatial houses because lot of money and hum do hamara adhar. So huge house, and in their house there is nobody to live. So they have to fix furniture so people can see something. On the front wall, there were like a histogram, there were about 16 photographs of the same person, different ages. I looked at it and went inside. Swamiji, how do you like it? I said, it's very good. Because I am very single pointed. I went for Viksha, so eating is the only purpose. Swamiji, these are the 16 photographs of my son. I said, very good. Instead of having 16 photographs of the same son, why didn't you have 16 sons? No, Swamiji. No, this is just a suggestion. Being an Indian, we are expert in giving suggestions. I said, where is your son? He is here. I had to call him. He came. And then I said, in the 16 photographs, which you think you are? How simple it is. Which I am. Imagine you are 70, you have your image about you. Go 10 years back. You are 60, you have got another image about you. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5, 1, 6 months, 1 month. In the womb, out of so many images, which are you? See? Therefore, sthula sukshma sharirabhimani jivaha vachyartaha tvampadas. And this identification, disidentification is a continuous non-stop process. See? We get identified with the driver and start driving the car. Come out of it, we disidentify with the driver's position. Then we become a devotee. We go to the temple, come down and start fighting with the person. Devotee is left, now a devotee has come. How many times we are born? And who is miserable? This entity which gets identified with anything finite. Meaning, as long as our identification with the finite is held valid, we cannot accept that Ishvara and Jiva are the manifestation of the same reality through two different conditionings. We cannot. Therefore, unless we start from ourselves, all the spiritual practice is this. Disidentify from the body. And when we start this practice, how to start it? There are two ways. One way is the accumulation of the things in life will be reduced. How many things we collect in life? 90% of them are unwanted. Swamiji, you are modest. 99% are unwanted. And you go to somebody's house and say, hey, this is very nice. Yes, it's very nice. Will you give me? Actually, this was our first anniversary in the first marriage, So, with every object that we have collected physically, we have also collected a memory in our mind. So the load is not only in your furniture room, but load is also on the mind in the form of memory. In many houses, they have got these various pieces. They are called as discussion pieces because there is nothing to discuss. So some funny thing will be there. You go, Swamiji, when I was the director of petroleum company, and then I went there, and I did this, I did. No, who is interested whether you are in petroleum or gaseum? Who cares? And then it starts, and then they presented me this thing. What is this? I also don't know, but it is still there. Just watch this. This is how our identification with the world outside creates memories and relations inside. And this is the load we carry as real, and this is what is called as Jiva. the moment you start discarding body identification, slowly, worldly things start getting away. I'll tell you one experience. One person, he left his body in my lap. And very simple person. And I was staying with them. He said, Swamiji, you have to stay with us. And he was that time something like 68 and I was in 20s. So, Swamiji, tell me what I should do. I said, I will tell, but you will not do. No, you just check how I do. I will do it. He used to eat lot of pan. You know that tambur, raw erica nut and tuna. Every day he used to eat at least 60-70 of them. So much. Addicted. I used to call him Papa. Papa, stop eating pan. Okay. And I stopped in one go. Now tell me what I should do. I said, okay. You do it for 1 week and then I'll tell you, not without you. So 1 week he didn't take. I said, no, hereafter you will never take, never I will take. I said, okay, start Om Namah Shivaya. How many times? Half an hour. And he used to very come, sit down with the mala in the hand, with single pointed Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Nothing could disturb. And like that 5-6 was gone. Meanwhile, his son was due to get married. So he told me, Hamidi, you go and select a girl for him. I said, Papa, I could not select for me. How will I select for him? No, you have to go. So I went and saw her. Now what will I say? She is good or bad? I said, okay, very good. Finish it off. Thereafter, when we came home, according to their tradition, the boy's parents have to go and buy some jewelry for the girl. He told me, you go and buy jewelry. I said, I don't understand anything. I will go and buy Rudraksha Mala and give both of them. And like that, and one day, he used to sleep in the same room where I was sleeping. That night, he went to his wife's room and sitting on the bed and lying down. That time the servant came and told me, Hamidi, Papa, something wrong. So then I went, I just climbed the bed, took him in my lap, like this, and it was midnight, 12 o'clock, and I was doing my Mrityunjay Japa. And he slowly closed his eyes, as if somebody has pulled a bed sheet on him. The whole life I could see slowly going out of him, and he was totally relaxed. No hichka, no jhatka, no nothing. Impossible to accept that he is dead. So when there is body identification, I want this, I want that, this way, that way. And when the body identification starts slowly going away, our interest in the world reduces. See, this person did not have a single thought about what will happen to my son's marriage and who will conduct it. Nothing, completely withdrawn. Friends, this doesn't mean those who withdraw, they die. Don't misunderstand. See, otherwise there will be no Jivan Mukta Purush here. Don't withdraw. Marenge. Not that. So how do we know that we are practicing knowledge? Only by this. Our interest, involvement in the world reduces to the minimum. So this is the meaning of Jiva when we are identified with the gross and the subtle body. And Upadhi Vinirmuktam, and when we are functioning through the body but no more living as the body, when we are functioning through the mind but no more living as the mind, when we are functioning through the sense organs and no more living as the sense organ, then Upadhi Vinirmuktaha. See, we don't have to destroy anything. Only at this moment we are the slaves This is what Bhagavan says. Indriyani manobuddhi asyadhishthanamuchyate. This virus called as desire first infects the sense organs, then the mind, and then the intellect. And we become slave. This is how a jiva is born. Tasmat tvam indriyani ado niyamya bhartarshava. So where from we start the practice of knowledge? Let us not be the slave to the senses. Let us not be emotional wrecks. Let us not be intellectual arrogance. Then we function through them. Upadhi vinirmuktaha. Then samadhi dasha sampanna. Samadhi dasha is this. Samadhi is not sitting like a wood. That is not a kashta samadhi Vedanta talks about. Samadhi is yogarato va bhogarato va sangarato va sangavina. That is samadhi. Dukkeshu anudvignamanaha sukeshu vigadaspruhaha vitaraga bhayakrodha stitadihi muni uchyate. He whose wisdom never gets corrupted, he whose wisdom is steady, he is living in samadhi. He is not sitting in samadhi. How long will you sit? See, friends. Again in the 6th chapter, Bhagavan defines Jitatmanaha prashantasya paramatma samahitaha shitoshna sukha dukkeshu tatha manapamanayo. When the joy, sorrows, etc. come, the equipoise is never disturbed. Honor and dishonor doesn't create any dent or disturbance in the mind. Such a person of steady wisdom is living as God on earth. See, friends. Therefore, samadhi dasha sampannam shuddha chaitanyam tatpadalakshataha. Then, is he dumb? No, he is not dumb. See, be very attentive. Panchadashi, this topic comes very exhaustively. Spiritual evolution is not a disease. That, if there is cold, but this yogi can sit in the, Himalayas, where we are shivering, and he will be sitting without any clothes, and take bath in the Alaknanda. By looking at the Alaknanda, our temperature falls. And he takes bath in Alaknanda and comes out. You must have seen, the dogs, when they take bath, they come out. They don't have towel, they do. Like that, all the air, water goes away. In the same manner, this great Mahatma, he goes into the Ganges or the Alaknanda, comes out, does like this thing, and walks, tack, and on. Why? Thande pani mein nahaya. See, such great masters, by practice you can achieve anything. When the same people in December, when they come to Haridwar, they want ice slabs all around them because it is too hot for them. Sensitivity of the skin to perceive cold and heat is the healthy condition. Sensitivity of the eyes to see is the healthy condition. Spiritual life is not an unhealthy condition. Suppose somebody has spoke, kuch nahi hota. Realize. There is not realization. You must be having, high diabetes. See, friends. Therefore, dukkeshu anudvignamanaha means what? Miseries come. Miseries are experienced. But a miserable entity is not born. See, if miseries are not experienced and if you are not miserable, what is great about it? Therefore, Shuddham Chaitanyam Tattvabodha Lakshataha. So this pure consciousness is meant by the Tvam in Tattvamasi Mahavakya. Similarly, now Ishvara, Tat, Evam, Sarvajnatvadi Vishishta, Ishvaraha Tattvabodha Vachyataha. So, Paramatma with the conditioning of gross and subtle body is called as Jivatma, and the same Paramatma with the conditioning of the Maya, thereby resulting into Sarvajna, Sarvashaktiman, etc., is called as Ishvara, word to word meaning. Okay. Now take an example to make this point. A person has only one vote in a democracy. He is equal to Jiva. Now one of the Jivas, one of the citizens, he contests elections and makes a jugaad and becomes the Prime Minister. Now this one vote holder, he has no power, no nothing. But when the same Jiva, when he wields all the votes of the people of that country, he becomes a Prime Minister. Now he has got all the power. Because now he is no more wielding one vote, but he is wielding all the votes of a nation in the same manner. Paramatma, with reference to only one Panchakosha, doesn't have much power. Same Paramatma wielding the Maya, the total potentiality, is now called as Ishvara. See? Therefore, Jiva Ishvara Bheda is only with reference to the conditionings. But the support for the conditionings is one. They are not two. Therefore, Upadhi Shunyam Shuddha Chaitanyam Tattvabodha Lakshataha. So, the implied meaning of the Tat is Paramatma. Implied meaning of the Tvam is Paramatma. The word meaning of Tvam is Jivatma. The word meaning of Tvam or Tat is Ishvara. So if we are taking word to word meaning, they cannot be one. But when you take the implied meaning and thereby discard the differences and come to cognize the common denominator, then we come to know that we are simultaneously Jiva and Ishvara. Our Prime Minister is simultaneously a citizen as well as a Prime Minister. See, when his position goes, he is reduced to the citizen. And when he leaves this country and goes to other place, he may not be the citizen, he may not be the Prime Minister, but he continues to exist. He doesn't disappear. Exactly the same way. The Jiva and Ishvara differences are only on account of the conditioning called as the Panchakoshas and the Maya. Upadhi Shunyam Shuddha Chaitanyam Tattvabodha Lakshataha Evam Cha Jiveshwarayoho Chaitanya Rupene Abhede Badhaka Bhavaha. Therefore, from the consciousness point of view, they are one. From the conditioned expression point of view, they are different. See? If our attention is on the light in the bulb and the movement in the fan, they are different. But your attention is behind the energy which is expressing as a light and the movement, they are one. See, all the differences are only because of the upadhi. And these upadhis create individualities. Therefore, spiritual practice is not becoming someone special, discarding all the speciality. See? We have got sufficient load of the specialities. I am man, I am woman, I am young, I am old, I am lohana kacchi. Kacchi baat nahi aati, lohana kacchi. How much most difficult to get out of all these imaginations. In addition to that, one more. What is the meaning by spirituality? 2 horns, 1 tail, only down. Nothing like that. We lose all the speciality. Like the deep sleep experience demands renunciation of identification with the body and the mind. Then only the deep sleep experience begins. See, if this we become aware, then what is all required is discard the gross body identification, discard identification from the mind, but don't go to sleep. That experience is called as God realization. Because when we enter sleep, we are lost in the Prakriti. Getting lost in the Prakriti is samsara. Therefore, this Tattvabodha Mahavakya indicates identity between the Jivatma and the Paramatma only when we are able to cognize what is the meaning of spiritual practice according to Vedanta. So now these 2 points. Spiritual practice for the Tattvabodha Shodhanam and spiritual practice for Tattvabodha Shodhanam. 2 things. Because there are 2 words. Tattvam Asi. Now Tvam means Jiva, you. Shodhanam means purification. So this can happen when we work on it incessantly. See? There is no breach. It is a continuous process. Therefore, Vedanta sadhana is 24/7. It is not only half an hour morning, half an hour evening, and then thereafter whole life frustration. No. It is 24/7. And in that, we start first. Natvam deho nendriyani na prano na mano na di vikaritvat vinashitvat drushyatvat cha ghato yatha. These 3 principles are applied to everything that we consider ourselves. They are the object of knowledge, they are subject to modification and destruction. So that which is an object of knowledge, subject to modification and destruction, cannot be me, because we cannot know ourselves objectively. Subject can never become an object. I can see the mind. Mind cannot see me. Mind can see the eyes. Eyes cannot see the mind. Consciousness can express as the mind. Mind cannot become consciousness. When mind disappears, it is called as consciousness. Mind doesn't become consciousness. See? In this manner, when we are working on this, so Tattvabodha Shodhanam will be purification of the self. The purification of the self will therefore mean first, Sabaki Mamata Tattvabodha. Start withdrawing from the worldly possessions and relations. First, spiritual practice. How do we withdraw? Number 1, no comment, no labeling, no advice, no opinion, no nothing. Live in this world with a drashta. See, it is something like this. When we want to learn driving a car, we don't learn driving the car in the highway or in the big traffic jam. We go to an open ground, football ground, and there we learn. Drive anyway, nothing, because nobody is there. But there also, if we search for a tree and make an accident, then we are a real genius. In the same manner, be very attentive. While living in this world, if we live without creating any accidents. Meaning, no more reaction to anything or anybody in this world. Then we get, like a driving license, we get a spiritual license. And what is that spiritual license? Now you become meditation worthy. Worthy doesn't mean uniform. See? Most of us have got this problem. Normally my mind is okay, no? But whenever I sit for meditation, no, terrible thoughts come. What should I do? Don't do meditation. So simple. But everybody says they do meditation, then do meditation. But then the thoughts come, then don't do meditation. What kind of logic it is? It is something like that. We have never learned how to drive the car in an open ground perfectly well. And we want to get into the traffic, there will be accident. In the same manner, friends, facing the world is easier than facing the mind. In meditation, we have to face our mind. Facing the enemy is easier. Facing the nears and dears is very difficult. This was the problem of Arjuna. Battle or war was not his problem. His problem was Katham Bhishma Maham Sanke Dronam Cha Madhusudana. Our real problem is not the world. The real problem is our own mind. Therefore, for the Tvam-pada Shodhanam, for the purification of our own being, first of all, let us live in this world in such a manner, don't get involved in this world anywhere. It's just question of only remaining in awareness. See, how much reactions come out of us, casually, naturally. We are not even aware. See? And with that kind of training to the mind, about everything there is a reaction. And with that reactionary mind, we sit for meditation. Make all arrangements. Close everything. Mummy is doing meditation. Don't disturb. No TV, no radio, no phone. Everything switch off. And that poor mummy sits for meditation. And there is the bathroom. One drop of water falls on the plastic bucket. Mummy is boiling. I don't know what to tell. These servants are terrible. They stuck. I don't know when they will improve. Stuck. They are all my enemies. Stuck. And then something happens and the tug doesn't come. क्या हो गया भरी? See, friends, because constant reaction. This is living in this awareness is called as Tvam-pada Shodhanam. And for that only become aware of like this, colors and forms illumined by the eyes. Eyes are not influenced. They illuminate every color. Ears illuminate every sound. Thoughts of every kind are supported by the same mind. Instead of focusing on the thoughts, focus on the mind, not on the thoughts. See? And when we thus become aware, more and more, we come to know everything is just moving like the fish move in the waters. Nothing happens to the waters. Or the birds move in the sky. Nothing happens to the sky. In the same manner, nothing happens to us. Jagrat comes and goes. Swapna comes and goes. Sushupti comes and goes. Samadhi also comes and goes. Jagra, Swapna, Sushupti, Samadhi, they don't belong to me. Jagrata Avastha belongs to the intellect. Swapna to the mind, Sushupti to the Ahankar, and Samadhi to the Chitta. Because Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Chitta remains. Chitta is not dissolved in Samadhi. It remains. See, friends, with this understanding, when we start thus purifying ourselves, the first worldly objects don't disturb us, then the body's modification. Yes, body has problem. And Panchadashi tells, disease to the body is an indication of a living body. A dead body doesn't have, what do you call this, pain in the knee. No pain. Because there is no life. So if you are having pain, very good, abhi jinda hai. The more you become aware of it, this will stop bothering you. See, friends, this is Tattvabodha Shodhanam. Similarly, the mind, then the prana, our own ideas, intellect. Why old people are unfit in the younger generation? They bring their time in the present. Who is interested in our past? Nobody is interested. But old people have nothing but the past. They hardly have any future. See? And youngsters are worried about their future. They are at two different ends. Therefore, friends, this process, living in utter awareness, is called as practice of Tattvamasi Mahavakya. It is not only simply Ghatakash, Bhatakash, Bhatakash. It's not that way. It must be implemented. Then the second is Tvam Pada is over the Tat Pada Shodhanam. Tat is Ishvara. And what is that Shodhanam? Shodhanam is searching. Now start searching God. Yat yat karma karomi tat tadakilam shambho tavaradhana. We see the world as we have recognized ourselves. This is the fundamental rule of life. If I consider myself to be the body, the world is man and woman. If I consider myself to be a sannyasi, the world is married and married. If I consider myself to be a Gujarati, the world is Gujarati, non-Gujarati. See, friends. And when I come to discover myself to be the conscious reality, then other than the consciousness, nothing else is. Therefore, the practice of Tattvabodha Shodhanam is suspect God in everything and being. Suspicion we all have. We don't lack the ability to suspect. So apply that suspicion that in everything and being, He alone is arriving in our life. Search Him, search. And when you start it, you will see you start getting such different kind of experiences. Hardly anybody is inimical to us in this world. See? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life, when you read, when he was coming from Bengal to Vrindavan, those days there was not Toronto. There were no flights. He was walking through the forest, and all those animals who are enemies to each other, they all became friendly. See, that magnetic charisma in ourselves reveals the divinity all around. Therefore, these two things go together. On one side cathode, on another side anode. On one side, Tvam Pada Shodhanam, purification, going beyond the Panchakoshas. On the other side, Tat Pada Shodhanam, surrender to the divine will and start suspecting divine intervention in every experience of our life. When these two things come together, the light sparks. See, friends, not only one way. So living with oneself, apply strict discipline, Vedanta. Living with the world, only love, respect, honor, understanding. See, this is what is called as Tattvamasi Mahavakya practice. And one more important point. When we thus start practicing this way, then many siddhis will start appearing in one's life. And these siddhis are very dangerous. Power corrupts everybody. Even little bit of things we know, we want to exhibit it. Little bit things. In some place, one person, I went for dinner. There are some time I said, okay, let me see the newspaper. No, Swamiji, I'll get a harmonium. I said, look here, I am not a Kawali brand. I don't want to sing around. No, I will sing. Hare Rama. And then he got it. And then got it. And started. Nothing, no air coming out. What happened? I said, you have not pulled the keys. Oh, Swamiji, you know. And he pulled and the key came in his hand. He said, I recently learned. So those who are recently learning, they want to exhibit. Sare gama padanisa. Then he asked wife, इसके ऊपर वो चिपकाया था सारे को कहाँ चला? This small little dumb thing called as a harmonium, little bit you want to show to the world, if you have got the divine siddhis manifesting, do you think we'll keep ourselves shut? See, friends, Patanjali says these siddhis are terrible obstacles on the path of evolution. See? Therefore, Janan apihi medhavi jadavan lokamachare. A wise seeker should live in this world most unclaimed, as if he knows nothing. See? We don't have to prove anything to anybody in this world. See? If somebody is a yogi or Siddha Purusha, he has to prove. See? The yoga students, they have demonstration of the yogasanas. For whom? Is it a performance like a Hame to loot liya? Yoga is a spiritual practice for yourself, isn't it? But I can do this, Padmasana in along with Shirshasana. So Shirshasana, I upar ja karke and then photograph. What is all only totally nothing to do with spirituality. We don't have to prove anything to anybody in this world. Being is knowing, and knowing is being. The moment we become somebody, we are reducing to the jiva. Therefore, this Tattvamasi Mahavakya, when it is practiced, then we are able to recognize and appreciate the meaning that Jiva Ishvara Abhedaha Shuddha Chaitanya Rupena. Ishvara and Jiva are one and the same from absolute consciousness point of view. Evam cha Vedanta Vakyaihi Sadguru Upadeshena cha Sarveshu api bhuteshu yesham Brahma Buddhi Utpannaha te Jivan Muktaha ityarthaha. Evam cha Vedanta Vakyaihi. Thus, by the study of Vedanta Vakya means Mahavakya. See, normally we are told there are 4 Mahavakyas, you know. I think in our Prem Puri only, many years before, in 90s, I used to see that. On the 4 walls, there are 4 Mahavakyas written. Still there?
No.
Removed? Now, Chalu Vakya.
Now we have assimilated it.
Okay. So, there will be 4 walls and 4 Mahavakyas. Tattvamasi, Pragyam Brahma, Ayamatma Brahma, Aham Brahmasmi. See, the meaning of the Mahavakya is establishment of the Jivatma, Paramatma identity. Brahmatmakya Bodha, that is the meaning of the Mahavakya. And there is not only 4 of them, they are samples. There are hundreds and hundreds of them. In Kenopanishad, for example, Yan manasana manute, yena ahur manomatam, tadeva brahma tvam vidhi, nedam yadidam upasate. See, that because of which the mind is able to think in its respective field, but that which cannot become an object of thought by the mind, that is the reality. That reality is Brahman. Know that reality is Brahman and know that reality thou art. You are that reality. Tat Brahma tvam eva vidhi. Mahavakya ho gaya. So, evam Vedanta Vakyehi and Sadguru Upadeshena cha. This is another important thing. You know, we all have this experience. When some people sing, their songs and words, they touch our heart. Some people sing with all sincerity, with all the paraphernalia, yet it doesn't touch our heart. The reason is, in the first case, the words carry the meaning. In the second case, words are without meaning. And when the words do not carry the meaning, they are merely noise. Therefore, Sadguru Upadeshena cha. When we go to the teacher who is Shrotriya Brahmanishta, 2 things. Shrotriya, the one who has studied the scriptures with the lineage Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. And the second one, Brahmanishta. Not only talking, but living that knowledge 24/7. Otherwise, telling, do you know what Bhagavad Gita says? Trividam narakasedam dwaram nashanam atmanaha kama krodhas tatha lobha tasman etat trem teje. After this shloka is over, one person comes late and in between and sits, and his Mahatma becomes very angry. Why you are late? महाराज जी आपने अभी अभी बताया था. See, which door you are going? Trividam narakasedam dwaram nashanam atmana. See friends, this knowledge, when it is lived, then only that knowledge can change the hearts of the people. See, once somebody asked Swami Anubhavananda Maharaj in Vrindavan, it happened. Maharaj ji, you don't do any kind of miracles. In Vedanta, miracles are not done. So Maharaj ji said, since how many years you are listening me? Swamiji, I am listening you for last 25 years. Very good. Are you the same what you were 25 years before and now? No, Maharaj ji, I have changed a lot. Everybody tells me I have really changed. Is it not a miracle? See friends, changing somebody's attitude towards life is the highest miracle. See friends, And it can happen only when the words carry the meaning. That's all. Like the mother told the child, don't eat sweet, but the child doesn't listen. When Ramakrishna Paramahansa tells, he listens because the words carry the meaning. And therefore, evam cha vedanta vakyehi sadguru upadeshena. So tat vijnanatham gurumeva vigachet samit panehi shrotriyam brahmanishta. And after that, what will happen? Sarveshu api bhuteshu yesham brahma buddhihi utpanna. Then for them, other than the Paramatma, nothing else is. It is something like this, A person who is committed to earning money, any department you put him in charge, he will discover how to eat money in that department. Because single pointed. In the same manner, he who is so much committed, for him, Ishavasya sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagat. So, yesham sarveshu api bhuteshu brahma buddhi utpanna te jivan muktaha ityarthaha. They are the jivan mukta. For them, there is nothing to be gained or lost from this world. Therefore, friends, this Vedanta sadhana is a 24/7 business. We have to live in utter awareness. Otherwise, if we imagine like apna karma karo or fir pakode khao, that is not. Otherwise, do some little asana pranayama and after that go on eating like a buffalo. That is not. Similarly, go to the temple and disturb Bhagwan and thereafter coming out disturb everybody. That is not a spiritual practice. One person, he told me, Swamini, after I heard you, I have started feeling very bad about myself. Why? I go to the temple and all that, and when I was going from your lecture by auto rickshaw, I was fighting with that auto rickshaw for 2 rupees. So, what should I do? I said, you bring the rickshaw wala to me, I will advise him. He may listen. Because spiritual practice is limited only to satsanga, not beyond that. Like before the God, we are a devotee. After that, we are a votee. Devotee means who doesn't vote for the world, holding on to the Lord. See, friends, yesham sarveshu bhuteshu brahma buddhi utpanna te jivan mukta ityarthaha. Nanu jivan muktaha kaha. Now, who is the jivan mukta? यथा देहोहम पुरुषोहम ब्राह्मणोहम शूद्रोहम अस्मि इति दृढ़निश्चयः तथा नाहम ब्राह्मणः न शूद्रः न पुरुषः किंतु असंगः सच्चिदानंद स्वरूपः प्रकाशरूपः सर्वान्तर्यामी चिदाकाशरूपः अस्मि इति दृढ़निश्चय रूपः अपरोक्ष ज्ञानवान जीवन मुक्तः. Who is the जीवन मुक्त? Like now we are Dehoham, we are fully established with conviction in this knowledge that I am this body. Dehoham, then Purushoham. We are not limiting only I am body, but I am a man, I am not a woman. And then Brahmanoham, Varna, then Shudroham, then this is what I am. So, Drudha Nishchaya. Even if God comes and tells us, we will not listen. In the same manner, tatha na aham brahmanaha na shudraha. With the same conviction, when we are able to live, that I am neither the Brahmana Shudra or Purusha or Stri, kintu asangaha, but unattached, uninfluenced, Satchidananda Swarupaha, of the nature of conscious blissful existence, Swaprakasha Swarupaha. For this I don't require anybody else's certificate. It is self-illumined, Sarvantarayami. inner controller of everything and being, Chidakasha Rupaha, of the nature of the conscious space, iti Drudhanishchayaha, with the same conviction when we start living, Aparoksha Jnanavan Jivan Muktaha. He who is living in this knowledge 24/7, he is called as the Jivan Muktaha. See, friends. Like for us, it is not only right hand I am because it fits. Left hand I am not because it is dirty. No. For me, there is no difference between the left and the right hand. Because everywhere I alone am. In the same manner, when Yasmin Sarvani Bhutani Atmanneva Anupashyati Sarva Bhutastam Na Tatu Vijugupsate. When we are able to recognize our presence in and through the totality and all of them in us, Na Tatu Vijugupsate, thereafter there cannot be any hatred, any biasness on any count. This becomes the beauty of such a great master who is living while alive. After that, the Jivan Mukta Purusha Brahmaivasmiti Aparoksha Jnanena Nikhila Karma Bandha Vinirmuktaha Syat. Then he is liberated from all the karma and the bondage is born out of karma. Thereafter, the next topic comes, what is the karma, etc. and what is the bondage. That will finish in tomorrow's concluding session. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Dachyate